adventurers, when we get off on our first adventure here today, we find ourselves having plunged off the deck of the now sinking and completely destroyed ship from the explosion of the gunpowder, away from the storm and in towards the Arctic mass. A huge stretch of land is before you. All of your player characters have found themselves against the bitter cold, the blackened, sludgy water sort of moving just underneath all the icy flows beneath your feet. You can feel the water moving and shifting around the area that you're at, the freezing cold as it begins to gnaw and bite into your bodies. A heavy wind blows onwards over top of your heads. You find yourselves just resting here at the very far corner of the map, with the water lapping up against you. You can hear off in the distance the sounds of screeching as well as the flames licking along the edges of your ship just as it goes down, committed to the depths by the sea creatures. Team, what would you like to do?
So the ship that's in the map right now, that is not our ship, it's a different one?
That is correct. As you sort of begin moving around your robotic joints, you begin to pick yourself up off the icy flow. You see a ship that is similarly crashed against the, crashed and dashed against the sharp, heavy spire-like rocks jutting out from the ice flows. It appears as though it's got a very thick covering of rime and frost and ice. It's clearly been marooned here for quite some time. It's definitely not your ship. Yours is somewhere out into the depths of the ocean beyond, no longer achievable by your mere mortal hands. Unless, of course, you have some means of going down into the water as some sort of a sea creature and, I don't know, picking up an entire ship as though you were a kraken. But I don't think you're a kraken.
I'm gonna just, it looks like, are we all prone right now?
That's correct. You're all laying out onto the icy flows. You've drifted onto here after the explosion threw you away.
I'm going to kind of come to and not quite get up yet, but I'm just going to at least sort of make a note of the surroundings, see if I can hear any, I'm particularly interested if I can hear any birds, but any kind of wildlife around, just to see if I can make notice of anything.
By all means, go ahead and roll me a perception check as you attempt to listen in for any sort of wildlife. Anybody else want to do anything? Not Druid or Zealot?
I want to tickle, not Druid, just for fun.
Not Druid is an ice flow away from you. So as you're getting up, you see the big hairy beast of a man over atop next to Ember Shadowgear. But you do have dog near you. Do you want to go tickle dog?
Yeah, I'll tickle dog, just for shits and gigs.
Very well. You go over to dog and immediately begin tickling him with your little metallic fingers. I'm not entirely certain what sort of a sensation that's supposed to feel like, but I imagine it's probably pretty weird for whoever's getting tickled by metal. And as you're sort of like jabbing him into the sides, he doesn't seem to stir. In fact, just by a little bit of that motion, you can see his head sort of flopping over. You see a big, mighty, combustible gash across his face. There's like a big blackened mark. A lot of his skin and flesh is missing. It seems almost as though maybe he got hit by the explosion. You can see some wood and metal shrapnel pieces that are sticking out of his torso at strange angles. And like part of the ice that he's on is this slick, thick, red, bloody sort of a coloration. Not Druid, do you want to do anything while he's tickling a corpse?
Yeah, I do have an ability called Shape of Water. I kind of want to freeze everything around us so we can get to the ship and explore. But from what I can see, I don't see any creatures in the water. Apparently, I can't use this ability if there's creatures. So, do I just cast the ability and then find out there's a creature, or how does that work?
Yeah, so when you use the cantrip Shape Water, you can target any 5-foot area, which is like a square on the map. So if I pull up like a grid form here and bring this up, oh, maybe it's not going to show me. Well, if it's not going to show me, it's really hard to show you on the ice flow. But if I kind of go over to like an area of the world, you might be able to see those little squares there. Anyway, it'll let you target one of those areas and then completely freeze the water that you're looking at. So do you know which direction you'd like to freeze the water?
Yeah, I guess towards the ship. It would be nice if I could build a bridge between the two groups here, but definitely something to start walking towards the ship.
Absolutely. You immediately begin to concentrate on your the powers of nature, the icy storm that's within you, and as you point forward, you watch as the water begins to harden up, crystallizing into this almost white, pure sensation of water. You immediately begin to walk past it as your magic fills the area. You can feel the ice flow as you're moving being pushed off into the ocean behind you as the movement of your weight sort of propels it backwards. Ember, Shadowgear, as you're looking around while this is happening, you don't notice any animals immediately present inside of your vicinity. No bird calls, nothing off into the tundra that might suggest that this place is livable or houses any sort of civilization. But you do hear the murmuring of pained sort of noises coming out of some people from the crew. One to the far left of the ice flows, one sort of kinda in the middle of it, and yet another onto the other side. These are the Star Voyagers that you had been with, as well as the chef of the ship. Beyond that, you do, even with the three, you do detect some movement in the water about you. You can hear this squealing noise, and it seems very close.
All right, then I will get up and start following not Druid across this bridge.
Very well. You do so, making your way off towards the bridge, hearing the ice crack with every bit of movement from your feet. Zealot, what would you like to do as you see your companions beginning to move on away from you?
So, a couple quick questions. When we originally made our characters, did we have items and stuff? Because I'm thinking about looting the corpse, but it doesn't make sense if we were we don't have anything.
You have the bare minimums of what you could make in your original starting equipment. So you could loot Dog for what Dog has, if you so desire.
Okay, so I'm going to break off his leg and then use it to push the ice patch closer to the other ones. Use it as an oar.
Very well. You not wishing to leave anything that could be useful behind. That would be silly. You reach down onto his leg and give a mighty. Go ahead and give me an athletics check. So you got to break off his arm or his leg, whichever one.
Athletics. So.
A 15 is good, and so you immediately succeed as you crack and break it off. Everyone can hear the sound of the cracked ligaments sort of echoing outwards across the icy flows of the ocean. You can feel the waves gently moving the ice flow as you take the leg and begin to push it into the water and propel yourself forward. You see this tendrily thing wrap out around your own body, trying to squirm around and grasp onto your character. And it's at that moment you look down as you're pushing into the water with the limb, blood sort of moving out into the water, the red becomes black. And suddenly out from Dog's chest, you can see this strange polyp-like thing begin to squirm like the tentacles of some kraken-like beast. Blood spurting out of it, out of the blackened water. This inky mass, almost like what jets out from an octopus or a squid, covers the ice and begins to trickle down into the water, where it spills outward and begins to fill the ocean with a black, menacing coloration. Seemingly, as that one has popped up, a screeching, squelching sound as though you were sticking a sword into some blooded wound begins to fill the air. Ember is the first to notice immediately that beyond you, the blackness may be behind you, but there are still some creatures yet that are making their way out of the depths over towards the icy flows. You kind of immediately recognize that it might not be too safe to be out on these icy flows in the water. But beyond that, everyone roll initiative. We're going right into combat as it tries to bite you.
Which one? Oh, here it is.
And while I put us in combat, I'll be right back.
I'm gonna use my whatever that thing is to reroll.
Yeah, I forget the name of it, but good luck with that.
What's
I
that?
want to use that one ability that I have that's totally cool that lets me reroll my stuff.
No, what was the thing that you said we have so many of them where we can reroll
Inspiration.
Inspiration.
You can absolutely use your inspiration. That's totally fine.
That was much
We'll
better.
mark that down.
How many do we get of those again?
Everyone starts with 1, but you can earn them limitlessly.
Okay.
So that puts you down at actually I think you already were at 0. I don't think you had any inspiration to spend. I think you spent yours last
Yeah,
time.
you said that I could have another one because I shoved that barrel in the guy's mouth.
You're right. You're right. I didn't mark that down, but you are correct. So I'll put you back down at 0. Absolutely. All right, team. What have we got here? We've got Ember, Shadowgear. Or that's not your role. You're at 16, and we've got Zealot at 15, as I understand it, or 17. Who has the 50? Is that not Druid?
No,
I
the
think you-
15 was the athletics check to rip off the
that's
leg.
there. Oh yeah, we're missing Nod. Okay, so not Druid. At the top of your character sheet, top sort of middle, you'll find that there is like an initiative button. Right underneath that, there'll be a number. You can click that. It'll be like next to the shield.
Oh, I see an initiative +1.
Yes, click +1.
Nice, I got a 12.
That is nice. Better than the infected polyps, which is good for you. And Ember Shadowgear is above there. And so thus, Zealot, you will start us off on this combat. But they do get a surprise attack against you because you were not expecting them to be inside of the creature you were breaking the arm off of. And they have a 13 to breach your armor class as the tentacle things start lashing and trying to pull you down back into the blackened water. Does that breach your armor class?
I have a 11 armor class.
And so it does. And so you take 5 piercing damage as the tentacle moves around your body and then begins to insert this long, toothy piece of material, this bone-like implement, as it stabs in there and latches onto your body. You feel an immediate pull as it holds you back, trying to keep you from moving away from your current location. But it is your turn. What would you like to do?
So it's holding me in place.
Yes,
I
you
tried
broke
to.
off a piece of dog's body and it was inside.
So I try to throw the body into the water and then put it so that the grapple is caught between the ice and I.
So, in order to resist and break out of their grapple, you'll need to make me an athletics check, to use your strength or a dexterity or a sleight of hand. Well, yeah, it'd be athletics in this case. There's no other choice. And he's going to try and resist you. And for him, you and him tie at 14. Roll again. You and him tie at 20 again. Roll a third time. All right, with an 11, you finally beat his check. You begin ripping and pulling. He's squirming around. One tentacle grabs you with on the other side as you get the first one off. You get to feel another stabbing sensation. It moves a third one around you, and the third time you rip it off. You can hear the sounds of breaking as the tentacle stays with you, and you thrust the rest of the body back down into the sea below. You can hear a mighty sort of a squish as the thing sprays into the water, all kinds of oceanic stuff, ice and water and whatnot spraying up into the air. But you are free. Where would you like to go with your freedom? You could jump across the ice floes.
Yeah, I want to go to the left across there to the one that they are not on, because I don't want it to. And then I'm going to go. Did you say to the left? Where are the people that were on the ship with us?
So you are currently right here. You've moved 25 feet. You've got right in your direction that there is the chef. Let me make these lines for you. So we've got the chef that's 30 feet away. You've got another person who's, I think, equally 30 feet away. And then finally the last person who's way on the other side, just resting down in between the cracks and rocks. I think they're probably about 90 feet away from where you're currently standing. And they all appear to be unconscious.
Can I ask my teammates?
You can shout out to them, yeah. You can role play with them mid-combat. Go for it.
What do you guys think? Should I try to save the chef, or do we start making our way through this process? Or try to make our way through?
I'm kind of worried that one guy had something inside of him, so everyone else who's not us might be infected. So that. And the other question I sort of had is, so people can jump between these ice things without needing to roll? Like, do I need to even form, an ice bridge or whatever I did last turn?
So, the rules for 5th edition for jumping is that you can jump the distance of your strength score, whatever that is, in feet. So, some people can make those jumps and some people cannot. But freezing the water and making like a guaranteed path is a lot safer of a way to do it, especially given that there could have been it could have been slippery on the ice. You don't really know until you make a check or you go and try to do it, right? So what you did was a very safe thing to do, especially given that there was more space than where he's at now with that ice flow. And although I can't update the map in real time for every single thing, he did say that he wanted to row forward, so he's kind of a little closer than the map makes it seem.
Okay. I kind of feel like we should ignore all the dead and knocked out people and make a run for the ship. Go there, trying to find either shelter, weapons, or something to fight these guys off.
Okay, then I will move my character to the point closest to those guys.
Do you mean your friends, or you mean the unconscious people?
My friends.
Okay. Well, since you've already moved 25 feet, you can move another 5 feet and get you to yourself just a little bit further, and then you can go start rounding out with your last 5 feet, get you to that 40 with your monk, and you can't quite get there, get towards them this turn.
That's true.
Anything else you want to do?
Nope.
Very well. Ember, we go to you. You watch as Zealot throws the polyp, the infected thing, closer to you. It's wriggling around in the water. The black gunk is spewing outwards from it. We can't quite see you on cam, and maybe you might know that, but if you don't, we can't.
I did not.
All good. We can now.
My Discord freaked out.
It happens. Technology is, it fails us.
All right. Seeing this creature closer to me, I am going to cast Witch Bolt at it.
Very well.
And then,
you do
and
so.
then run
Go
away.
ahead and make me an attack roll.
All right. No, I'm not going to.
Damn. That is a critical failure, which is not so good. Would you like a personal pain or group pain?
I'll take the personal pain.
Okay. Is there any way I could give him my inspiration or whatever so he can roll again if he wanted?
There is when he's not rolling to make a check. Otherwise, y'all could have 74 saved up and you could just, be certain that you get a nat 20, So everyone gets to roll it on their own. But I think, unless I'm mistaken, I believe that Ember does have an inspiration. So he could spend his own if he wanted to.
Yeah, actually, I've forgotten about inspiration. I will definitely do that.
By all means. Go for it.
All right. Let's try that again.
Mark that down. You get a second roll.
Not much better.
Oh, not much better. That's a lot better. That's a lot better. We will take that any day over the critical failure. Now, I will say it is still not enough to hit, but it doesn't give you that negative bad stuff from the nat 1. So as this crackling beam of evocation energy begins to writhe across your arms and your hands, you go to shoot forth the witch bolt, and the energy just sort of hits off under the ice adjacent to the creature, cracking and breaking apart the shaped water that had been made earlier by not Druid.
And now I'm going to run. I can move 30 feet, sort of up on the map as far as I can. If I can jump across there.
You absolutely can jump across there. This crack has not had somebody push it forth with the ice flow or anything inside the area to sort of like balance it out. Go ahead and make me an athletics check or an acrobatics check.
All right. I have a +0 to both, so athletics it is.
That's all right. You'll
15.
make it just fine. With a 15, like I said, you make it just fine. And as you go across the ice, you can feel this sort of slick, slippery substance with the water on it. Almost seems to propel you forth, face first into the water. But alas, you nimbly jump across onto the other side, clutching the stone of the spire as it peeks its way up out of the sea. What else would you like to do?
I'm done.
Very well. You see before you a small little pass of rock through the crags that leads this little icy path over towards the edge of the ship. You kind of immediately recognize if there's anywhere that you might be safe from these polyps inside of the water, maybe it would be the ship. It's clearly stood the test of time along the areas of where these spires are sticking up. But obviously whoever was there isn't there anymore, right? So where are they? Beyond that, not Druid, we go to you. The polyp is close to you.
I'm kind of thinking about healing one of the people that are currently down using my healing ward. And I guess also putting down an ice patch and moving closer to where Ember Shadows is. Does that sound reasonable?
You could do both of those things, because healing word is a bonus action.
Nice. What do you guys feel about that? Should we resurrect someone or bring someone back?
I was planning on taking the corpse, the one that's in front of me, and I was going to throw it as bait to the enemies. So,
Okay.
I mean, it's up to. I mean, we could do that. I'm 100% game, but that was kind of my thought process, was to use them as bait for the bad guys.
I guess a question for a dungeon master: what's the benefit of one of these characters coming back to life, if there are any?
Yeah, I mean, this is a good question to ask, right? Normally in D&D, my rule of thumb is you never ask, like, can I do something, but instead do it and find out. This is a good question to ask, however, because it's not about what you can do, it's about what is their value to you. So the chef, of course, is somebody who's been preparing your food along the journey the entire time that you've been on the ship. So this is probably somebody who might be able to feed you or provide you with any sort of mechanically speaking, this is somebody who would be able to keep you alive inside of a frigid, waste sort of an area, right? If I go over here to the Star Voyager, that is the person who was the captain of your ship, the person who was plotting down your courses and knows where you are in the world, right? I'm imagining the rest of you aren't avid sailors or have the technical know-how for how to pilot a ship or to chart your course across the stars, right? And so that person could be somewhat important in detailing where you are and how to get the hell out of this place. So they have some value. And then naturally you have the other Star Voyager, the person who's sort of been funding the expedition and somebody who has some magical talent who helped make this ship run and function back when you were still aboard your ship. So this person has a little bit of magical know-how that might help you fight enemies to survive, but they are also the person who funded the expedition or who knows the financiers. So if you were interested in sort of the financial aspects or where your donors were for the mission, who you were trying to get back to, they might be important or relevant. And if you don't care about the financial backers or you don't want them to see a singular penny off of your trip, maybe leave that person to die.
I think that second guy, we might need him, if we want to know where we're going or potentially take the boat back into the water. So what do you guys think? Should I resurrect this guy or should I attack the fish guy and then, put a bridge over and walk over?
After hearing that, I kind of feel like I want to kind of switch gears completely. I think we should go and try to save the chef, save the guy with know-how, and then loot the body of the financier.
Okay.
But
If we're gonna save 2 people, might as well go for all 3.
yeah, but I want their money.
I'm cool with that.
Feel free-
What do you think, Adam?
I'm thinking I liked the original plan of just making it to the boat and ignoring them for now. I am pretty squishy myself, so I don't mind leaving them behind. I don't know if I want to throw them as bait, but I don't mind leaving them behind in case the monsters get distracted by them. I'm worried that if we not Druid, if you run past me and I'm the closest, I'm not gonna fare well.
Like I said, then I might actually use one of my attacks called Ice Knife on that squid creature, and then assuming that works, then I'll cross over and sort of meet you there. If not, I'll stand there and hopefully take some hits.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna Ice Knife it.
Very well. Quick decision from the team. As you're on top of your ice flow, you turn around, preparing a sort of a singular blade of energy from the ice beneath you. You toss it over towards them, making the attack roll to see if you hit.
Well, I just click Cast Ice Knife, right?
That is correct. There should be like a to hit.
Let's see.
Come on, kill him. I believe in you.
I believe.
I'm looking for the hit button. I did hit Ice thing knife once, but I don't see where the hit button is.
So when you're looking at your spells, and you've got like the ice knife cast, that'll show us that you've used your spell slot. But then after that, there's like a column for one. It'll say 1A. That's one action. Range is 60 feet, and then you'll see like a little button that says +5. Click the +5. That'll be your to hit, and then the one next to it is your damage. A 14 to hit is good. So you sling this red hot blade of ice knife energy as the shard impacts into the creature. It immediately explodes. Go ahead and roll damage. That'll be the next one over.
Cool.
Wow, maximum damage. Incredible. As the shard of ice hits into the body, you can see it immediately slices through some of the tentacles as it's exploding, these little shards popping out of it. Now, the nice thing about Ice Knife is, regardless of whether or not you hit with Ice Knife, you also get to deal 2d6 cold damage on top of that 1d10, and to make a dex saving throw against that, because like I said, it explodes. So if you can roll 2d6, you go to the bottom left-hand corner of D&D Beyond, you'll see like there's this little red circle, and then you go grab 2 of the d6s.
Red circle, let's see.
Be all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. It's got like a little die on it.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, click that, and then you'll see the 2, like you can hover over them, 2d6. And then after that, click roll to everyone like I just did.
I see D20, D12, D10, D100, and D6. So I hit D6.
Yep, click that twice. And then click roll to everyone. Super painless, super easy. A lot of UI though. A lot of UI to navigate. And then we
Hopefully I
wait.
did good. Ooh.
Oh no! Well, I rolled an 8 for damage. And I wish I could give you what I rolled for damage. But with a 2, the ice shards explode. Only 2 of them make it into the lodge into the creature's body. It looks dramatically in pain. You can see that some of the tentacles are completely gone. The strangely humanoid portions of the body have ice embedded in them. It is bleeding profusely in all directions of its body, and yet somehow it continues to wriggle onwards into the water, screeching out in pain as it tries to get a little closer to you. Stick that strange toothy maw into your body.
Ooh, that's not good.
I mean, only if you don't like hentai.
I gotta be honest, I'm a lot less intimidated by these guys now. If 2 damage is almost knocking them out.
Well, it was 12 total, sir. It was 12.
Oh, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to question your authority.
I guess I could also try freezing them with frostbite, I assume, right?
So it takes your action to cast Ice Knife, and every time you're in combat on your turn, you get 1 action, a bonus action, a free action, and a reaction. And so since you've used your action, you can't use anything else that takes an action slot. So something like Frostbite would take an action, but you could use Healing Word, which is a bonus action.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to heal that guy.
We want to heal.
Can I ask you real quick?
What's up?
That one?
Could you try to use the freezing, like the thing that you were using to make the path? Could you just try using that on the enemy? Would that work or no?
No, apparently there can't be any creatures in the water or underneath, so since that guy's in the water, I can't use it there.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
It says right in the spell's description, you can't use this on creatures.
Okay.
Because they knew you would want to do
Cool.
that.
Do it.
The fun police said that you can't.
Jerks.
I'm probably not gonna res the chef because I feel like it should be easy for us to like find something and just throw it on fire and eat it. I think having that guy's navigation skills, the second guy you talked about, might be worth having since we're about to jump on a ship.
Sure.
So I think I'm gonna try to res that guy.
Sure. Go ahead and cast your Healing Word, and then roll how much healing they get. You'll see the dice next to cast. All right. As you turn back around from where the ice knife flings off of your one hand, with the other, you send an evocative healing word over towards the character. What is the healing word of the day?
Get up.
Get up! And as you shout, get up! Towards the person, the red light moves in towards their body, goes down to their mouth, and immediately pumps almost like a heart through their chest. They begin to rise, placing a bloody hand under the side of the stone. And as they pick themselves up, they say, "Oh, what's going on? Where's my ship?" And she looks around the ice, the icy flows to see where you're at, points towards one of the creatures, and shouts, "Avast! We need to make it to the ship!" And she looks for the ship, which is gone. She's confused, but alive. What else would you like to do?
And can I try to jump over to where the other side? To Ember Shadow?
Where she's at? Or do you want to go?
No, to Shadowgear.
Yes, you can go all. It's 20 feet to get there. You can jump the other 10 with an athletics check or an acrobatics check. Your choice.
Nice. Let's see. So for acrobatics, I have a +1, and for athletics, I have a -1. So I assume acrobatics is what I should use.
It's probably the better one.
Alright, cool.
Oh, 8. As you attempt to leap over top from one ice floe to the next, you slip your right onto the edge of the water, and the next thing we all hear is as your big, massive body plummets down into the water. All of that shaggy fur, completely damped and soaking wet. You're gonna be like 2 times heavier now. I mean, look at that body. Look at it. You're basically a bear.
That's pretty
Anyway,
hot.
alas, you do not quite make it. And deep down there in the water, you can feel immediately, as soon as you plunge into there, all of the little creatures seem to wriggle over in your direction. Fixate.
Oh, more insights.
I believe that's your turn. That was movement, action, and bonus action. So we go to the infected polyps. And when we go to them and you plummet into the water, you'll see that there are a plethora of other polyps that immediately are drawn in towards that sensation. They swim through the water and make their way over towards the edge. You can see that 2 of them arrive over at the body of the person that you had left behind, that financier, and they immediately begin to stab and dig into that person's flesh and begin to trying to drag them back into the water. Another one slickly moves across the ice. We've got one that's going to move through the water onto the ice here and just sort of rest right at the edge there. One who's going to make its way over towards that locale. He fell to his untimely demise. We'll put him back here on the icy flow. Meanwhile, we've got somebody this one who's going to skirt across the ice over towards Zealot. And another one who just barely makes it over to you, Zealot. You can feel the tentacles wriggling along your backside as it tries desperately to grab you, but can't quite make an attack this turn. We go to Star Voyager Helma, who, looking up from her position, begins to ready that pistol that's at her side, raises it up, and says, "I'm not gonna let a single one of you out of my sight." And she clicks the trigger to a click. Click. Click, click. A little bit of water sprays out the end of the barrel. She places it back into her coat, brings out a sword, and desperately looks around saying, "What are we gonna do?"
Have her run to the ship.
Anything you want to say to her before she makes her own mind up?
Don't fight them.
Jump over there and help Zealot.
We can take them.
We've got run over there and help Zealot. We've got run away to the ship. Who's gonna? I think Paul. That makes you the last one, right? I think the deciding voice. What are you gonna say to her?
I actually wanted to call out what I was going to do during my turn. Maybe it might influence what might happen. I have an ability called Shape of Water that can push water in a particular direction. So I was kind of hoping to move all the creatures away from us to give us more breathing room to get to the ship. But if you guys want to engage, we could definitely fight them.
I mean, I like to kill things, so I would like to take them on, but that's just me. Yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, I'm for fighting.
All right, we'll see how it goes. She is going to leap across the icy flow over to where Zealot is at, and then she's going to walk over to the side and immediately attempt to slash into it with her sword. And as she does so, she hits with the attack and slashes off one of the tentacles. Then she sort of whirls the sword around and gets into a defensive stance, looks to you, Zealot, and says, "Now, I have to say, where's everybody else? Where's the rest of the crew?" You want to say anything to her?
They're in trouble.
They're in trouble. We go to Chef Imos, who's unconscious, Star Voyager Melman, who's unconscious, and Zealot. We come right back to you. You can see that the polyps from the water have entered the fray, and they hunger for your flesh. What would you like to do?
So when they ran across the ice, correct? They did not come from the water.
They came out of the water, and then, like a seal, slippery and almost like a snake, glided across the ice. And when they got into the water, they just as nimbly, just as dexterously flowed through it using their tentacles as propellers of some kind.
Okay, I want to do a flip over that guy, grab him by the legs, and then throw him as far as possible.
All right, you're gonna try and go ahead and give me an acrobatics check to sail on over top of his body. A 12, and with a 12, you just sort of like barely crest over top of him. You can feel the fleshy mass almost preventing you from doing so, but this is easy enough for you to get a good handhold and try and whip the guy. Go ahead and give me an athletics check. as he tries to resist.
Oh, fudge.
Unfortunately, a 12 is not quite enough. And as you're grabbing onto the tentacles, they're slippery, slimy, slick with blood, and you just make away with this strange pile of guts in your hand as the thing immediately begins to, try and wriggle onto your torso and your brain. You can see these bones beginning to stab out the sides of the arms and the tentacles, trying to lash into your body.
So do
That's
I
your
still have
action,
an attack
unfortunately.
available?
That would be your action
Okay.
to try and throw them. But had it worked, you might have thrown them away.
Like, so I don't have an attack anymore.
That is correct.
Then I'm gonna run over to the chef. Is he making noise or no?
He is kind of groaning. He's unconscious, but you can tell that he's alive.
I'm gonna run over and behind the chef.
Now,
If you run away, okay, you got it.
that's exactly right.
Wait, what? No.
If you run away, he will get what's called an attack of opportunity, which means that since you are within his threat range, and his threat range is sort of the 5-foot sphere around him,
Yep.
he'll get a free attack. Are you okay with that?
I mean, what do you guys think?
He might miss. He could always
Yeah.
miss.
Yeah, with that other polyp probably heading towards you as well. If you just stand there, you're going to get attacked twice. If you run away, you'll get attacked once. So that actually is probably the way to go.
Now you do know as well that the polyps, when it hit you the first time, it did grapple you, which prevents you from moving. So there is that to consider as well.
Okay. I'm gonna use. Can I use Step of the Wind?
Yeah, you can use Step of the Wind to disengage.
30 minutes. So okay. So how do I roll for that?
You don't. You just use one key point and you do it. You have a amount of key points equal to your character level that you can use per long rest.
So does that get me out of the 5 feet range or whatever that is?
Yeah, whenever you disengage, it means that no enemies can attack you while you're moving during that turn.
Okay.
So-
So I'll use I'll use that Step of the Wind to get out of that area and then go over by the chef.
All right. You run over towards the other side of the ice floe and you go to kick off of it. Go ahead and make an athletics or an acrobatics check as you try desperately to get to the other side. With a 21, the kick is good! And you make your way on to the other area and up right to where the chef is at, groaning in toward at the bottom. You can see that he's got just a little bit of scuffs and bruises. Seemingly, he's got like a lot of water going around his body, sort of pumping out of his mouth. Seems as though he may need like CPR or something like that. He's got a lot of water built up in his lungs, but he's still alive.
Do I have any actions left or no?
You have used your action already. You have used your bonus action as well. But you could just pick up the body and just drag him. There's no action economy to that. And when you want to carry somebody,
Right.
it takes twice your movement to take them anywhere. So instead of moving 5 feet, you move 10. Well, for every 5
Okay.
feet you spend, you move 10 instead.
Does that connect that actual stone right there? Does that connect to the ice drift on the other side?
It sure does.
Then I'll try to drag him that way towards the ship.
Very well. You try to drag him just a little bit closer off onto the stone, and as you sprint away and grab the chef and begin moving, you can hear the Star Voyager behind you say, "Hey now, what's going on here? I thought you said we were gonna fight these people." She readies the sword up, clearly battling with the polyp as you abandon her.
Sucks to suck.
Ember, we go to you. You, you say directly in in Not Druid's face as he's pawing into the water. Ha! Sucks to suck.
Let's see. I'm going to let's see. Would it be a bonus action or an action to try and grab not Druid and pull him up out of the water?
Nothing. No action economy required. You can just reach down and drag him up.
Okay, then I'm gonna just drag him up onto the ice, and then.
Druid, would you like to be dragged? Do you consent to this?
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of hot.
And then I am going to
drag him out. It does take you 10 feet of movement to do so, to pull him out of the icy water. And when you do so, not Druid, you can feel, is freezing cold. It seems as though if he doesn't get shelter soon, he will start to go through the symptoms of hypothermia. You just feel super, super cold. Like the body is already beginning to. Well, I guess it's under fur, so you can't tell, but you know. He's starting to turn blue.
I can see the signs.
Yeah. The
okay, then
the
I'm gonna get him.
Is already starting to turn into icicles dripping off.
I'm gonna continue to kind of drag him along as far as I can towards the ship.
Sure.
Just get him as close as possible so that he doesn't have to move as far. While I'm doing that, though, I do want to reverse positions with him and almost be pushing him so that I have some line of sight.
Sure.
Because I want to shoot. Yeah.
Go for it. Sorry. Go. You know what you're doing.
If I can get a line of sight to the one polyp that we've been attacking, I'll shoot an Eldritch Blast at him. If I can't see him, then okay, perfect.
You can go for it. Go for it, baby.
All right. I want one of my spells to land. 16.
A 16 breaches. Roll damage.
All right. Nine total.
With 9 damage, this eldritch beam of force crackles through the air, hitting off to the side of the creature. You watch as the polyp explodes into this inky mass of blackness. You almost feel as though you can see a humanoid face stretched out inside of the belly of the beast. Its face contorted in horror before it's shattered and blown apart.
Right, I don't think I can do much else.
I agree.
So I'm done.
All right. In that case, we go to not Druid. You have just been dragged closer to the ship. Some covering fire is given as Ember sort of drags you along and says, "Oh, hold the line!" It begins bursting and throwing magic back. It's like a grisly scene from World War II or Vietnam. What are you gonna do?
I have an ability called Destroy Water. What happens if I use that here? I think it removes like 10 gallons of water.
Yes. Yeah, you want to. So with Creator Destroy Water, you are correct. You can absolutely eliminate any 10 gallons of water that you see. What do you want to target?
I guess, is there any way to see what the radius of like 10 gallons would look like if I remove that water?
That is an excellent question. I think that 10 gallons of water, if I can imagine, what would 10 gallons of water be like?
How much water do you have in your fur?
That's what I was thinking too.
I think.
Well, I mean, I would imagine it cools you off, or or warms you up because you'll get rid of some of that ice, you know.
That is certainly one thing you could do. I'm thinking to myself that this is probably the equivalent of shape water, and so you could probably, with Creator Destroy Water, you could likely destroy a 5-foot cube of area, or maybe like a 10-foot cube. I think that would make some sense, right? I
definitely want to use it to get the water off myself to, not die.
Yeah. Great idea. Very well. You cast Create or Destroy Water, and immediately all of the water is expunged from your body. The icicles flash explode as this ray of this sort of like heat beam explodes out from your body. You're like a Super Saiyan from Dragon Ball Z. Your hair briefly changes color to yellow and then back to your normal brownish hue. Saves you. You feel much warmer. Not gonna die of hypothermia. Smart
Also,
thinking.
was
I
that
award
a
you
bonus
+1
attack?
inspiration. Come again?
Oh, thank you. Is that a bonus move, or was that like my attack move?
It was your action. It was your attack move.
Okay.
Sad face, but also not gonna die.
Yeah. I guess I'll now make a run for the ship as close as I can get.
Very well. Do you want to continue dragging Ember Shadowgear, or do you want to just leave him behind and go off on your own?
Does that impact how far I can get if I drag him?
Yes. You can only go half the speed when you're dragging somebody. You go twice the speed if you're just by yourself.
I feel like, Adam, I want to drag you just to keep you safe, but let me know if you want me to leave you instead.
I like the way you phrased that.
Go ahead and head towards the ship. That's fine.
Okay, so I'll leave you then,
I'll be right after you.
And I'll head toward the ship by myself as close as I can get it.
Very well. No need to jump here. You get yourself 30 feet closer, and you are just one turn away from getting up onto that ship. Anything else you'd like to do from that vantage point?
Before you do that, can I ask you for one thing?
Yeah,
so
of course.
If you got closer, because I've got that chef guy, I'm gonna have to like throw him to another ice thing. It's gonna be easier if you can get like kind of close-ish to me, because if I can get him closer there, if you can heal him, I won't have to drag his ass all the way over.
Oh shit, I kind of moved though already. I don't know if I can go backwards.
That's true. You can't go back in time.
Okay, never mind.
Damn, I should have thought about that. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
I
You
should
got
have
a
said
lot of
something.
moving parts here. This is a complex problem. The infected polyps will now take their turn, and these two are going to drag this guy off into the depths. You hear the sounds of bubbles escaping, the tentacles lashing up, and there's an explosion of flesh that sort of raises up, almost like some kind of a B-rated horror film, you know? Just like a little geyser of blood and black sort of squirting madness. The other polyps, however, they have got other targets that are still up and running. So these two are going to go over towards Star Voyager Helma, and they are going to attempt to kill her. First attack is a 16, which does breach. Second is a 5, which fails. And as they stick the first little like tentacles into her body, you hear the sounds of her gasping as they stab into her lungs. She immediately goes down back onto the ground, taking the exact same amount of damage that you healed her by. And alas, her sword falls down, sticks into the ice. She's not dead yet, but they have definitely grappled her and will probably pull her back underneath the water next turn. The other polyps are going to continue. Dog is gone since he was a polyp. And they are going to slick their way across 30 feet to try and get closer to their prey. But something interesting happens, Ember. As they arrive at the edge here and they attempt to get closer and closer to you, you notice right upon this slick bit of ice between the two rocks, the ice here seems a little bit more hardened than the rest. And when their bodies go against it, you can see the cold sort of making this permafrost-like effect across their slick, slooshy, watery bodies. They seem to be doing very poorly, and you watch as they take cold damage. Doesn't seem as though they could survive deeper into the Arctic here. At least maybe not yet. We go to Helma, who's down. I'm gonna roll for her death saving throw. Team, this is new for you. Whenever somebody is dying, they make death saving throws. They have to they have to get 3 successes to come back at 1 hit point, or they'll be unconscious for an hour. Almost like the way the combat began. And somebody will have to heal them to bring them up. But if they get 3 failures before they get 3 successes, they instantly die. Game over. That's it. The same as what happens to you if you go down in combat. If somebody hits them or deals damage, it is an automatic fail. So, my question to you is, would you like to not have any idea whether or not she's failing or succeeding and have it be questionable? You have to like walk over to her and do like a check to see if she's alive or not. Or would you like to have it announced and know whether or not you're in the clear?
Who are we,
Sounds
who are we
simpler if we
talking
could
about?
just watch her.
I guess I feel like I missed something. Who is it that we're trying to check to see if they're alive?
So, the person, Star Voyager Helma, that was saved previously, she took some damage from the enemies that were no longer targeting you. And because of that, she is now making death saving throws. She's down on the ground again. So she could bleed out and die, or she might get better. Who knows? But I'm just asking you if you want those rolls to be kept private or if you want them to be announced. Some people like the suspense of not knowing.
I want to know. It's up to
I
you
want to
guys,
know.
so.
Yeah, I want to know too.
All right. Hey, I'm fine with that.
Zealot, you can see, so you can watch.
Zealot, you watch as this turn, she does not cough up any blood. Her wounds sort of don't, she seems to rally a little bit of strength, and she passes her first death save. She's got a save instead of a fail. We go to Chef Imos, who's still unconscious. Star Voyager Melman is now dead and out of combat completely. That takes us back to you, Zealot, top of initiative.
Zealot, I do have a quick
Columns
question
actually
for you.
are- Go ahead, sorry.
Did you say the chef is dead permanently?
No, they're unconscious.
Okay. Okay.
The Star Voyager's dead. The financier, he's gone.
Zealot, before
So
you make a
then-
move, had a question for the Dungeon Master. Is the ship being blocked by anything to get back in the water, or
It
Can
does
it go
appear
back?
as though it has run aground, and at some point, a massive wave must have pushed it over the rocky barriers and into the ice flow. From your perspective, it does appear as though there are these large rocks all around it, sort of
Okay.
poking up out of the ground. It could potentially become seaworthy later, or maybe not. You're unsure since you haven't really gotten that far yet. But you can definitely tell it wouldn't be just as simple as getting on and leaving. Appears you may spend some time here.
Can you show me the other side of the rock that I'm next to?
Absolutely.
So there's like nothing there. So I guess, guys, my thought process is that stone path on the edge of the map. I almost feel like I should try to drag this guy, or I can try to jump and throw him across and get as close as I can to you guys. What's your thoughts? Or
Yeah,
could
it feels
just,
like the only option is that second one, to just kind of keep dragging him and tossing him as far as you can.
There,
Do you have-
there is no genuine like rock ledge that runs the length of the map. That's just the border of the map.
Oh, okay.
But you can go if you meant like this rocky area, like that. That for sure is there.
Okay, so then I'm going to
Zealot,
bring
do you
him
have
to
a
that.
move? I just had a question. Do you have a move that could potentially, like, bust up those boulders and potentially crushing those guys that are at, in that little middle overpass? There's like 3 of them there.
That's
I
what
mean, like a
I'm kind
fury.
of hoping to do, something like that.
Okay.
Well, I could try Flurry of Blows. Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea. I'll try Flurry of Blows on the rocks that are between me and the, whatever those guys are.
So Flurry of Blows just gives you 2 extra attacks, but it doesn't have enough strength to break through the boulders and tumble them down on top of the other targets. So
What about the
unfortunately,
open
it
hand?
wouldn't work. There are some things that I can tell you in advance, but usually I can't. But that I can tell you.
Even with the, because I have my character with the Iron Fist, and I've got the, what is it called? Because I'm a Juggernaut.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, even then, the big boulder that you're facing now, you would need some sort of equipment to break through that, or like a spell like Shape Earth, right? That would allow you to move it down onto them. It's also really icy and cold. Have you ever been in the like icy cold scenarios? Things are a lot harder to break in general.
How far can I throw this dwarf?
You could throw him at a distance equal to your strength score.
Okay, so get as close. Do you see that like little coral thing right next to the ship? That's between the.
Like right there.
That little yes. So get as close to that as possible, and then try. And then how far is the distance between those?
Looks
two?
to be about 15 feet from where you're
Let me
currently
check
sitting.
my strength.
Got
Okay,
some in
so
my
then
eyes
yeah,
there.
I'll throw him over to the coral.
Very well. You run off towards the edge of the ice, and as you get over there, you hear your metallic body clanking against the rocky ice. You give a big old twirl, and you chuck him as far as you can with a good old, or perhaps for your maybe your Warforged says nothing. Yeah, you're a machine. You don't need to give off a grunt if you don't want to, but you do successfully tumble him out onto the other side of the grasses. Strange little grassy, lush stuff seems to be growing right into the icy water. It's perplexing to you, but all at once, as soon as the person lands onto it, it almost seems to grow around them as though sheltering and comforting.
Okay.
You do still have more movement. It's your action to toss the guy, but you still got 15 feet of, you have 25 feet of movement. Where else do you want to go?
I want to try to jump. Do you guys want me to go towards you, or do you want me to try to get away with this guy? Because I feel like I should just try to jump across the ice and then back over to the coral. But then I'm kind of leaving you guys to your own devices.
I think.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think you should continue to protect him. You got two. Well, if those polyps pull her down to the water, maybe they won't come back. I think either way, I think the two of us are okay. I would continue protecting the unconscious guy.
Okay. And I'm going to
chef.
try to jump to the other ice floe and then jump towards the coral where the chef is.
Very well. Go ahead and give me
If I-
2 athletics or acrobatics checks, one after the other. Oh no. Well, good news and bad news for you. The bad news is, as you attempt to make the first jump, you do plunge into the icy depths of the water. The good news is that at this juncture, it is now so the water is so shallow atop this reef, you barely get affected by it. You're all, the water's only up to your shoulders. You kind of go, oh, this isn't so bad. Your Warforged body protects you from the harsher elements of the water and the cold anyway. And so you just walk on out.
Damn. Look at that.
As you make your way over to the other side, you're right next to the chef that you had tossed earlier. This is your turn. Anything else you want to do?
Is he still unconscious?
Yes.
Can I
You
check him
can-
for money?
I was about to say, you can try and revive him with a medicine check if you want, but no, this is better. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and give me an investigation check for his loot.
I only
yeah.
want his money because otherwise, if he survives, he's going to know.
19 is really solid. As you're looking through his inventory all over his stuff, you notice that he was wearing his his chef's apron when he went down with the ship. He's got this big, nice culinary hat on him that looks kind of silly. Inside of the hat, however, you notice that he must be very dexterous with knives because he's got all kinds of them stuffed into the side of the chef's hat. It's actually what's keeping it up on top of his head, looking so straight and pristine. So you can take 12 daggers inside of there if you'd like. One of these daggers, unlike the rest, seems as though it's heavily gilded with all of this intricate gold markings along the sides. And at the very base of the pommel has like this dark looking obsidian piece in it that looks quite sharp and dangerous, almost as though it could be used as its own blade or like a stabbing implement. And it seems as though it has like a little drop of red in there, almost like blood. Inside of his pockets, beyond that, you also notice he's got his chef's utensils that he would use to cook, as well as clearly 15 rations. This guy has been stealing food from the larder himself, all for him. It's the best of the meals. All the time that you've been on the ship, you have not seen such lovely pies that he's got inside of his bag as this. But he's been holding out on you. There's a lemon meringue in there. He's got some kind of key lime pie. You haven't had any of that while you've been on this journey. You've been eating hardtack and bread and salted porks. He's got some of that too, but pie? Oh.
I'm just
and
gonna
also,
take his knife.
he does have
Oh,
36 gold.
Yeah, I'll take his gold and his knife.
Okay.
Like the really intricate knife. And then I'll
Not the
hide
other
it as
11.
best I can.
And you don't.
No, I'll leave the... Actually, I'll take one of the other knives and the really intricate one.
Sure.
And all of his gold. I don't eat. I don't care. He can have all the pies he wants, but if he doesn't
You
feed
should
my
care.
translator, we'll have issues.
Can you imagine if you were on a voyage, someone kept pie from you?
I don't eat. Like, with the Warforged, you know?
But what does that say about his character, man? Think of what he's done to your crew. For shame,
Okay.
for shame. All right, you may not care, but I certainly would. Zealot, that's turn. Ember, we go off to you. What do you? You're facing down 3 of the polyps as they take their cold damage and they're about to strike into you and not Druid. What do you want to do?
So they didn't attack me, so they're not close enough to attack if I run away.
One of them is close enough to attack you. The others are not quite there yet. They had to use all of their movement to get up there and their action, so there's
I
nothing
see.
they can do.
Okay.
Well, but they can attack if you move. One can.
Right. How strong is my Eldritch Blast? Could it take down some boulders into this pass area that we're all standing in?
Unfortunately, it is not. Unless
Okay.
they were weakened. I would tell you as the DM, like, hey, do I think I could take down the rocks with my Eldritch Blast? Ordinarily, this is where I would say, like, you can try, but I can tell
Right.
you for sure it's beyond the realm of possibility. Unless
Yeah.
you get a nat 20. Anything can happen on a nat 20. 5%
I am
chance.
I'm going to go ahead and attempt to run away. I'm going to move as far away as I can towards not Druid and see if they are successful in their attack.
All right,
Can I
Ember, are
say
you ready
something?
for my attack roll?
Can I say something before that?
You can talk as a team anytime you want.
Can you, like, because the guy that's in front of you is the one that's taking a bunch of damage. You might want to try to hit
No.
him first, because then
The guy
run
that took
away,
a lot of
right?
damage is we already killed. This is a
Oh,
new
okay.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry guys.
No,
You try to be
if yeah, that would have. I agree with you. If he was close to death, I would swing and then run. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna swing, anyways.
Sure.
Since they're
What if you
already
hit-
dealing with cold damage, I'm gonna use frostbite at the polyp closest to me.
Very well. All right.
Yeah.
I need to make a saving throw for frostbite instead of you trying to hit them. Do you know what your difficulty class is? Your DC for the spell?
13.
Yes, absolutely. Now for their difficulty class, they get an 11. And thus, your freezing cold immediately snaps into their body. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right.
Good job.
3.
As you hit them with your frostbite, you instead deal 9 cold damage, as it's triple
Hey.
the effectiveness. They are very weak to cold, and so instead you see some of the polypy edges of the body shrivel up, snap off. Some of them flash freezing and just exploding on contact. But it is still alive. What else would you like to do?
Now I'm gonna go ahead and try and run away.
All right. As it attempts to swing at you, it does get a 10, and so luckily for you, does a 10 reach your armor class?
No, I have a 12.
Yeah, it is right, baby. The tentacles are right up the side of your body, trying desperately to kill you, but you get away. You want to run 30 feet?
30 feet, yeah. Towards, yeah.
Gets you right to where Not Druid is.
Cool.
And with that, we go to you, Not Druid. Ember's right on behind you. You're just about to get to the ship. You know that it's going to be, you're going to have to mantle the side of that. You're going to climb over it, which is going to take you 10 feet of movement. You could get up into that ship right here and now, or you could try and help Ember, or you could fight, or you could cast spells. You know, you actually got a lot of options. I'll just shut up. What do you want to do?
Am I allowed to do Moonbeam, like, far away, and then when they try to, like, pursue us, it would kind of burn them up and melt the ice, plunging them into the water?
So Moonbeam itself doesn't do fire damage, so it won't melt the ice, but you could absolutely put the Moonbeam down where they have to walk, and anytime they walk into it, they take the damage.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Really good idea.
Yeah, I'll do that since they're obviously going to follow a particular path to try and get to us.
Sure, where do you want to put it?
I'll be right in that little, like, little pathway. So this way...
the area that makes total sense to do it?
Yep.
Yeah, why not? All right, you turn around watching Ember, and as you call out your prayers to the moon, you watch as a silvery beam of energy shines down this, that has this awing aura. As it immediately begins to make these silvery wisps of light wisp up from the ground atop the ice, almost making it look kind of like dry ice. You can immediately tell that as that burning presence is there, it's likely going to damage them when they walk through it. What else do you want to do?
I guess after I do that, I'll probably run to the ship and yell if anyone's up there.
Sure. Run over towards the ship. It'll take you 30 feet to get over the side astride the place, and you immediately begin yelling for anyone. What do you yell?
Anyone home?
Anyone home? You yell out across the ship. The icy wind blows over top. And it doesn't appear as though anyone immediately greets you or replies to your call. You can see from this vantage point as you arrive that the ship has clearly seen better days. There are casks of equipment and crates that have a thick sheen of ice around the sides, clearly having not been used for quite some time. You can already see that there's some water logged completely through the bottom of the deck. Some ice that has trickled water down in onto the other side. And once you're here, you notice that there is a heavy piece of rock jutting out through the side where it was slammed against it long ago. Even some of the main masts have snapped offwards and are just sort of piercing the side of the water. You know that the ship is surrounded by water, and once you get up onto this other side, you see before you a massive mountain stretching out across the tundra landscape, as well as a tower in the distance made of clear stone, some sort of an ancient fortification that somebody must have built, some civilization. And from this vantage point, you notice that there is a sort of a crack in the mountain where the water is either going in or coming out, and it looks as though at some point through the cracked ice, somebody or something must have dragged its way over into or out of that area. But you kind of get a lot more of an understanding of this surroundings when you get up into that ship.
Yeah. I guess I'll end my turn here and see what happens.
That's right. The infected polyps, like the unthinking creatures they are, squirm, wriggling their way through your moonbeam. Go ahead and roll damage 3 times. They're going to attempt to go after Ember.
Cool, so hit the damage point 3 times, right?
That's right.
3 20s.
I should try to find the damage button.
So for Moonbeam, you should see that it has like the difficulty class adjacent to it. It's got like a little number that they have to beat, and then after that, if you keep looking, you'll find like 2d10. You can click that 3 times.
Cool, got it, thanks.
Yep. Ooh, 12. Nice for the first one. Wow, consistency is key. 12 again. Ooh, 5 in the last one. Well, as they traverse through your moonbeam, the first one, its flesh burns and sizzles for a brief moment, making the cold ice that slick across its body melt into water. It seems happy again for one singular moment, its whole body wriggling with excitement, until it explodes in a silvery burst of light all across its body. The flesh sort of out onto the rocks aside it. The next one that travels through the silvery light seemingly burns and sizzles across its flesh, just like the first one. It is barely alive as some singular form of its body limps onward through the beam, and the third and final one similarly will make it out. They do wriggle their way across the ice over to Ember. And let me just double check here with the movement, but I think, oops, keep that guy there. They will like almost reach you, Ember, but not quite. They cannot quite prevent you from leaving the ice. The other infected polyps are going to drag Star Voyager Helma down, committing her to the depths, and she too has died. We go to Chef Imos, who is still not conscious, but is with Zealot. Zealot, we go back to you. Top of initiative. Seems as though there's only 2 polyps left chasing you towards the ship. And here you are. You can listen to the sounds of the water. Things deep inside of it wriggling. You can see movement around you as though they're coming towards you, but have not yet arrived. What do you want to do?
I'm just going to drag him to the other side of the boat as far as I can.
Sure. You can drag him over towards the edge. Now, if you want, you can use your action to dash. This is something everybody can do, which doubles your movement for that turn. And if you want, you can get him there right now.
Do I only have so many of those, or I can do that whenever I want?
You can dash as many times as you want. There's no limit to how many times you can do it, with the exception of you can dash consecutively as many turns in a row as your Constitution modifier before you start taking exhaustion. And exhaustion is something that isn't too bad at the first stages, but upon its 6th stage of exhaustion, the 6th time you take it, your character just flat out dies. So you can take like 2 levels of exhaustion. That's fine. Don't take 3 or more.
I mean, it's up to you guys, but honestly, I don't really see any danger in it over here. I might as well just kind of leave it where it's at and not worry about the exhaustion. What do you guys think?
The dash won't affect you for the
there.
first 3 times. You'll take no side effects. Just want to make that clear, but go on and keep discussing.
You could leave him there and dash yourself.
Okay, then can I just loot the rest of his stuff and then like just throw his body into the water?
You absolutely can do that. You could leave him behind if you so desire.
You could always come back. I would just leave him and come back to him. If you dash, you could jump up onto the boats and at least be in like a defensive position if those polyps make it onto the boat. But I don't think they're. I think he's safe where he is.
Okay, so then I'll leave him on the coral because you said that was like protecting him, and then I'll try to do my best to get onto the boat to get as close to you guys as possible.
Very well. You use your action, you dash, and as you make your way over towards the edge of the ship, you can just barely grab on over to the other side and make it staring off into not Druid's face. You can see the slick rest of the cabin and the rest of the ship that you're on. You notice the small little rowboat that appears to have been knocked off to the side, prepared for some journey or other. Some supplies that are left inside of the ice, and that's turn. And Ember, we go to you. You have the two
All
polyps
right,
adjacent to you, and you are close to the edge of the ship. What do you want to do?
So, I will. I'm gonna cast Frostbite at the polyp that's closest to me.
Naturally. Go ahead and deal your damage, as their saving throw for this one was a 12. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Nice.
Ooh, you do 15 cold damage as you snap freeze it in place, and a small statue of its body completely frozen in ice appears before you. It is dead.
And
I will
Awesome.
mark it such.
I'm gonna run to the boat now.
Go ahead and give me your final leap across the ice. Oh, wait, hold on. You're good there. You run over onto the other side, leaping onto the side of the ship, and as you go over onto the next edge and arrive to safety, you watch as the polyps, unable to get up to where you're at, begin to freeze themselves into place. They slide back into the water, all those that haven't been turned into icicle crisp statues. And the last little thing you hear is the water gurgling up back at you saying, "Tune in next time on D&D." Well done, team. You made it to safety.
Awesome.